Kai's ship landed with a soft thud on the surface of the uncharted planet. The landing gear sank slightly into the purple-tinted soil. The air smelled strange, sweet but sharp, carrying the scent of unknown plants. He stepped out carefully, adjusting his helmet and scanning the area. The planet stretched before him like a living painting. Trees with silver leaves shimmered under two suns, and the rivers glowed faintly with green light. Kai had explored many worlds, but something about this one felt different. The silence was not peaceful. It was watchful, as if the planet itself was alive and observing every step he took. He signaled his small crew to follow, but they stayed close to the ship, uneasy. Kai's eyes caught movement among the trees. A figure was there, standing still, almost blending with the glowing forest. She was thin and tall, with hair that seemed to shine like the rivers. Her eyes reflected the light in a strange, beautiful way. She did not speak. She did not move. She simply watched. "Did you see that?" Kai whispered, pointing toward the figure. "I see something," replied Mara, his second in command. "Maybe a local animal." "Be careful, Kai." Kai shook his head. He knew it was not an animal. He felt it in his chest, a pull that told him this being was intelligent. He wanted to speak, to understand, but the figure vanished before he could take another step. The crew looked at him with concern. "Kai, we should set up camp." "We can't chase shadows in a foreign world," Mara said. Kai nodded, but his mind kept returning to the figure. That night, he could not sleep. He stood near the ship's observation window, staring at the glowing forest. The stars above were sharp and clear. Then he saw her again. She moved along the edge of the trees, careful not to make a sound. Kai decided he had to approach her. He equipped his light, a small device that could scan life forms, and stepped into the forest. Every leaf he passed seemed to hum with energy. Strange insects with translucent wings flew around him, glowing faintly. He moved slowly, careful not to scare her away. Hours passed. Kai's feet ached, and his stomach growled, but he did not give up. Then, in a clearing by a small glowing river, he saw her again. She was closer this time. Her eyes met his. He felt a strange warmth, a connection that went beyond words. "Hello," Kai said softly, hoping his voice would not frighten her. "I am Kai. I mean no harm. I only want to understand." The figure tilted her head slightly but did not respond. Her silence was calm, almost like a language of its own. Kai noticed her hands were delicate, fingers long and thin, and her skin had a soft shimmer, like the moon reflecting on water. He stayed there, watching her, trying to show he was friendly. He lowered his light, letting the natural glow of the planet illuminate her. She did not flee. She did not attack. She simply observed, like a queen watching an uninvited guest. Kai wondered why she hid. Why did she not come closer? He felt a mix of curiosity and respect. Perhaps she was afraid. Perhaps she had reason to distrust humans. He decided he would learn her story. The wind shifted, carrying a faint scent of flowers and minerals. He noticed small markings on the trees around the clearing. They glowed faintly as if responding to his presence. The markings formed shapes that looked like symbols. Kai's heart raced. This was not just a forest. It was a place of knowledge, a place of history. Kai knew he could not leave without learning more. He returned to the ship to rest but stayed awake half the night, planning his next steps. The figure had appeared and disappeared like a dream, but he could not shake the feeling that she had chosen to show herself for a reason. As the first light of the twin suns touched the horizon, Kai made a promise to himself. He would not frighten her. He would not force her to reveal herself. He would earn her trust, piece by piece, by showing respect and patience. For now, all he could do was watch the forest and wait. He felt that the story of this planet and its mysterious inhabitant was just beginning. The adventure was calling him, and he was ready to follow it wherever it might lead. Kai did not know what she was or why she hid, but he knew one thing. Meeting her was not just chance. It was the start of something greater than any mission he had ever taken. Something that could change the way humans saw the universe. And with that thought, Kai took a deep breath, looked out at the glowing forest, and stepped forward again, determined to uncover the secrets that waited within. The morning sunlight painted the trees in gold and silver. Kai stepped out of the ship, feeling the soft glow of the planet on his face. His mind was filled with the memory of her eyes. Myra. He had decided to call her that, even though she had not spoken her name. Somehow, it felt right. Kai moved carefully through the forest, following the faint signs she left behind. Broken branches, a ripple in the glowing river, and footprints that seemed almost human, yet shimmered faintly like the rest of the planet. He kept his breathing slow, so he would not scare her. The forest was alive in ways Kai had never seen. Leaves glowed when the wind passed through them, and small animals with shining eyes peeked from behind the plants. Strange flowers opened and closed as he passed. Every step he took felt like he was walking through a living painting. Suddenly, he saw her again. She stood across a small clearing, half hidden behind silver trees. When she saw him, she moved quickly, disappearing into the shadows. Kai's heart raced, but he did not run. He followed, keeping a careful distance. He noticed the ground beneath her feet changed as she moved. Plants bent away gently, leaving a glowing path. It was as if the planet itself recognized her and welcomed her presence. Kai realized he was not just following her. He was following a bond between her and the planet. Hours passed. The forest grew denser, and the air shimmered with heat and light. Kai felt tired, but he could not stop. The feeling of curiosity mixed with respect drove him forward. He wanted to know why she hid, what secrets she carried, and why she was here, alone in such a beautiful but strange place. The path led to a river. Its waters glowed green, and the surface rippled as if alive. Kai stepped carefully on the rocks, trying not to make a sound. Then he saw her again, standing on the other side. She looked at him, her eyes calm but distant. Kai raised his hand in a greeting. He hoped she would understand he meant no harm. She did not move. Instead, she disappeared again, moving deeper into the forest. Kai took a deep breath and followed. As he moved, he noticed strange structures among the trees. Small, smooth buildings, covered in crystal growths, almost blending with the forest. He realized this was not an ordinary planet. There was a civilization here, hidden and protected. Myra was part of something much bigger than he had imagined. Kai stopped for a moment, catching his breath. The forest around him pulsed with energy. Strange lights moved along the trees like tiny stars. He felt as if the planet itself was watching him, testing him, seeing if he belonged here. Then, he heard a sound. A low hum, soft but powerful. It came from the direction Myra had gone. He followed it carefully, stepping over roots and glowing flowers. The hum grew louder, and he realized it was not just a sound. It was a message, a signal, a warning, and an invitation at the same time. Kai stepped into a small clearing. The ground glowed beneath his feet, showing patterns he could not understand. Myra was there, standing in the center. She raised her hand, and the patterns on the ground shifted, forming symbols. Kai froze. He did not understand the symbols, but he could feel their meaning. They were words, thoughts, feelings, all combined. He took a step forward. Myra did not move. She watched him, as if deciding whether he was worthy of understanding. Kai felt a strange connection, as if the forest, the river, and Myra herself were all speaking to him at once. Suddenly, a shadow moved behind him. Kai turned quickly, but saw nothing. When he looked back, Myra had disappeared again. Only the glowing symbols remained, floating above the ground like stars. Kai reached out his hand, wanting to touch them, but they faded before he could. Kai realized then that following her was not just about moving through the forest. It was about understanding. He had to be patient, careful, and respectful. She was testing him, teaching him, even without words. The sun began to set, painting the forest in deep orange and purple. Kai returned to the ship, tired but excited. He had not caught up with Myra, but he had learned more about her, the planet, and the life that existed here. He knew tomorrow would bring new challenges. He would follow her again, not as a hunter, but as a student. Every step he took was a lesson, every movement a conversation. As night fell, Kai looked at the glowing forest from the ship's window. He felt a strong determination. Myra was not hiding from fear alone. She was protecting something precious, something he had to respect. Kai knew one thing for certain. The chase was not over. It had only begun. And he was ready to follow her, wherever she led, to learn the truth about this mysterious planet and the being who had captured his curiosity. The next morning, Kai woke with the first light of the twin suns. The forest outside the ship glowed softly in shades of purple and gold. His sleep had been restless, filled with dreams of Myra and the strange symbols she had shown him. He felt a mixture of excitement and determination. Today, he would explore deeper into the forest and try to uncover more about her and the planet. Kai moved carefully, following a path of faintly glowing plants. The air was warmer here, and the hum of the forest was louder. Small creatures with translucent wings darted between the trees. Kai paused to watch them. They seemed curious but not afraid. He realized that the planet itself was alive, watching him, testing him, and guiding him at the same time. After walking for hours, Kai noticed a change in the forest. The trees were taller, their silver leaves shimmering brighter. Strange structures appeared among them, partially hidden by vines and glowing plants. They were smooth, like they had been carved from crystal. The light reflected off the surfaces in patterns that seemed almost deliberate. Kai's heart raced. He stepped closer, careful not to touch anything. The structures were not like any building he had seen before. They were alive in a way, as if the crystal walls pulsed with energy. Symbols similar to the ones Myra had shown him floated faintly above the surfaces. He realized this place held knowledge and history. It was a library, a city, and a temple all at once. Kai stepped inside the largest structure. The air was cooler here, and the walls glowed softly. Strange carvings covered every surface, showing beings with long, flowing forms, standing among stars and planets. Some carvings showed beings lifting others, protecting them from danger. Kai felt a shiver run through him. These carvings were not just decoration. They were stories, lessons, warnings, and guidance. As he moved deeper into the structure, he found a large chamber. In the center, a pool of glowing water reflected the light of the walls. Around the pool were more symbols, moving slowly, changing shape as if alive. Kai reached out to touch the water, and suddenly the symbols shifted. They formed shapes he recognized, patterns of life, energy, and balance. He realized the Zephyrians, Myra's people, had recorded their knowledge here in a living form. Kai stepped back, overwhelmed. This was more than he could have imagined. Myra had been hiding not just herself, but an entire civilization. One that was advanced, wise, and careful. She had chosen to protect it from humans, and now he understood why. This knowledge was powerful, and it needed respect. Suddenly, Kai heard a soft sound behind him. He turned and saw Myra standing at the entrance of the chamber. Her eyes were calm, but he could feel her power. She did not speak, but the energy in the room made him feel that she was communicating without words. Kai bowed slightly, showing respect. Myra stepped forward and moved her hand over the pool of water. The symbols shifted again, forming a message that Kai could understand in his mind. It said, "You may see, but you must learn before you touch. Respect is the key." Kai nodded slowly. He understood now. He had to be patient. He could explore, but he could not take anything without understanding its meaning and purpose. Myra was testing him, teaching him, and he felt honored to be here. He spent hours in the chamber, studying the carvings and symbols. He realized the Zephyrians had been here for centuries, learning from the planet and protecting it. Their civilization was built on respect for life, knowledge, and balance. Kai felt humbled. Humanity had much to learn if they were to survive among the stars. As he prepared to leave the chamber, he noticed a smaller door partially hidden behind a crystal wall. Curious, he opened it and found a library of glowing crystals. Each one contained a story, a record of the Zephyrians' history, discoveries, and experiences. Kai realized this was the heart of their knowledge. If he could learn from it, he could understand Myra and her people better than anyone before him. Kai stepped outside the structure as the suns began to set. Myra was waiting among the trees. She did not speak, but her eyes told him to continue. Kai knew he had taken the first step into a larger world, one full of wisdom and mystery. That night, Kai sat by the ship, looking at the glowing forest. He felt a new sense of purpose. He had discovered the truth about Myra and her people, and he knew the path ahead would require patience, respect, and understanding. He could not rush. He could not take more than he deserved. The forest pulsed softly under the light of the twin moons. Kai felt a connection to the planet and to Myra. This was not just a mission anymore. It was a journey into knowledge, trust, and discovery. The story of Myra, the Zephyrians, and the planet had begun to unfold, and Kai was ready to follow it, step by step, learning everything he could. Kai closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. Tomorrow, he would return to the forest and continue his journey. He knew Myra would guide him, but only if he proved himself worthy of her trust. He was ready for the challenge. The next morning, Kai stepped into the forest with careful excitement. The air was cool, and the glowing leaves painted the path with gold and silver light. Today, he felt, would be different. Myra had not appeared yet, but he sensed her presence. He moved slowly, listening to the hum of the forest, letting it guide him. Hours passed, and Kai found himself near the glowing river where he had seen her before. He paused, watching the water ripple over the stones, reflecting the light of the twin suns. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw her. Myra stood on the riverbank, watching him. She did not move, but Kai felt her attention like a gentle wave. Kai took a deep breath. "Hello, Myra," he said softly. "I want to learn about you and your people. I promise I mean no harm." She tilted her head slightly and took a small step closer. Kai noticed her eyes were calm, thoughtful, and curious. He did not move quickly. Instead, he kept his hands visible, showing he was not a threat. Myra spoke for the first time, her voice soft and musical. "Why do you follow me, human?" Kai paused, choosing his words carefully. "Because I want to understand. I have never seen a place like this. I have never met anyone like you. I want to learn, not to take, not to harm." Myra studied him silently. Then she moved closer to the river, her reflection shimmering in the glowing water. "Humans often come to take," she said. "Many have tried. Many have failed. Why should I trust you?" Kai felt the weight of her words. He bowed slightly. "I cannot change the past. I cannot speak for all humans. But I can promise my actions. I will respect your world. I will listen and learn. I want to understand your people and your knowledge." Myra's eyes softened slightly. She extended her hand, and the water in the river began to glow brighter. Symbols appeared on the surface, moving like waves. Kai watched in awe. The water told stories of her people, the Zephyrians, who had lived here for centuries, learning from the planet and protecting it from harm. Myra stepped closer to him. If you want to see our knowledge, you must prove that you can respect it. You must understand patience, care, and balance. Only then will our world share its secrets. Kai nodded. I am ready to learn. I will do whatever is needed. Myra looked at him for a long moment, then motioned toward a path deeper into the forest. Follow me, she said. But do not rush. Everything here has a purpose. Every step you take must be thoughtful. Kai followed her carefully. The forest seemed to guide them. Leaves shimmered as they passed, and small creatures watched them silently. Myra walked without fear, as if the planet itself recognized her and allowed her passage. Kai noticed that every plant, every stone, seemed to respond to her presence. They arrived at a small clearing, filled with glowing crystals and strange structures. Myra turned to him. This is a part of our history. Every crystal contains the memory of our people. To touch them is to accept responsibility for what you learn. Are you ready? Kai looked around, awed by the beauty and power of the place. He nodded slowly. Yes. I am ready. Myra guided him to the first crystal. Kai reached out and placed his hand on it. Images, thoughts, and feelings flowed into his mind. He saw the Zephyrians caring for the planet, learning from the rivers, trees, and creatures. He saw their mistakes, their successes, and the lessons they had learned. He understood why Myra had hidden. Their knowledge was precious, and the planet needed protection. Hours passed as Kai learned from the crystals. Myra remained nearby, watching and guiding him. She spoke little, but when she did, her words were gentle, clear, and full of meaning. Kai realized that trust was growing between them. She was teaching him, and he was proving his respect. By the time the suns began to set, Kai felt a deep connection to Myra and her people. He had seen a glimpse of the wisdom and care that had allowed the Zephyrians to survive for centuries. He understood now that this was not just about curiosity. It was about responsibility. Myra stepped back and looked at him with quiet approval. You have taken the first step, human. You have shown patience and respect. Continue to learn, and you may understand the true heart of our people. Kai bowed his head slightly, feeling honored. Thank you, Myra. I will continue to learn. I will honor your people and your world. As night fell, the forest glowed softly under the twin moons. Kai sat near the river, reflecting on everything he had seen and learned. He felt a new sense of purpose. Myra was not just a guide. She was a teacher, and her people's knowledge was a treasure he must protect and understand. Kai knew the journey was just beginning. There would be challenges, tests, and lessons ahead. But for the first time, he felt that he was on the right path. He was not just exploring a planet. He was building a connection, one that could change the way humans saw the universe. Kai closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Myra watched from the forest, a quiet presence filled with wisdom and power. Kai knew that trust, respect, and understanding would be the key to the story that was just beginning. The morning light filtered through the glowing trees as Kai prepared to follow Myra deeper into the forest. Today, he knew, would be different. Myra had promised him lessons, and now he would face the first test of his patience, intelligence, and understanding of her world. Myra waited at the edge of a crystal-clear lake. The water shimmered with green and gold light. She did not speak, but the air seemed to pulse with energy as if the planet itself was aware of Kai's presence. He stepped forward carefully, feeling a mixture of nervousness and excitement. Your first task is simple in words, difficult in practice, Myra said, her voice calm and melodic. You must cross the lake without disturbing it. Every movement, every step must be measured. Respect the balance of this place, and you will succeed. Kai looked at the lake. It seemed still and peaceful, but he could see small ripples forming as fish-like creatures swam just beneath the surface. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. The water felt alive beneath his feet, shifting slightly as he moved. He walked slowly, focusing on every step. Sometimes he had to pause, adjust his balance, and listen to the subtle hum of the lake. Myra watched silently, her eyes following every movement. Kai felt pressure, but he also felt a strange calm. The lake was teaching him patience. One wrong step could disturb the creatures, and he understood that this was not just about walking. It was about awareness, care, and harmony with the world around him. After a long and careful journey, Kai reached the far side of the lake. The water remained almost perfectly still, and the creatures continued their swim undisturbed. Myra nodded slightly, a small smile on her face. You have learned the first lesson. Respect is not only in words but in action. Now we move to the next challenge. She led him to a grove of glowing trees. Their branches intertwined, creating a natural maze. The air was thick with the hum of life, and Kai could see small animals moving among the roots. Myra stopped in the center of the grove. This is a test of intelligence and observation. You must find the path to the heart of the grove without touching the ground. Use your mind, not your strength. Kai looked around. The ground was filled with glowing plants that reacted to touch. If he stepped on them, the maze would shift and trap him. He thought carefully. He noticed the branches above him formed patterns, almost like arrows pointing toward the center. He climbed slowly, testing each branch before placing his weight on it. He listened to the sounds of the forest, watching for small movements that could guide him. Hours passed, but Kai did not give up. Step by step, he navigated the maze, using observation, reasoning, and patience. Finally, he reached the center. A small crystal pulsed with light, and the forest seemed to hum louder, as if acknowledging his success. Myra's eyes glowed softly. You see and understand. Intelligence is not only knowledge but careful thought and awareness. Kai rested for a moment, catching his breath. He had learned to be careful, patient, and aware of the living world around him. Myra's tests were not just physical, they were lessons in understanding the planet and its people. The final challenge came as the sun began to set. Myra led him to a field of glowing flowers that reacted to touch and sound. Your last task is empathy, she said. Some of these flowers are sick. You must help them without using your hands or harming the others. Feel the life within them and guide their energy back. Kai approached the flowers slowly. He closed his eyes and focused on the flow of life in the field. He could sense weak pulses from some flowers and strong pulses from others. He guided energy gently from one to another, concentrating on balance and care. The field shimmered under his attention, and gradually, the sick flowers stood taller, their glow brighter. Myra watched quietly, then spoke softly. You have completed the final test. Patience, intelligence, and empathy are the keys to understanding our world. You have shown that you can learn and respect. This is the first step toward trust. Kai felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The tests had been difficult, but he had learned more than he ever expected. He understood the planet, Myra, and her people in ways that words could not describe. He realized that knowledge without respect was useless. Myra stepped closer, her eyes calm and approving. The lessons will continue, but now you have proven your heart and mind. You may learn more of our history, our secrets, and our people. But always remember the first lessons: patience, awareness, and empathy. Without them, knowledge is dangerous. Kai bowed his head, feeling honored and humbled. Thank you, Myra. I will remember. I will continue to learn and respect your world. As night fell, the forest glowed under the twin moons. Kai sat by the river, reflecting on the day's lessons. He had faced the first tests and learned the meaning of trust, care, and understanding. He knew the path ahead would be filled with more challenges, but he was ready. Kai closed his eyes, feeling a strong connection to Myra and the forest. He had taken the first steps to becoming a true student of this world, and he was eager to continue his journey. The morning light was soft as Kai followed Myra through the glowing forest. The lessons of the previous day had left him thoughtful. He had learned patience, awareness, and empathy. But today, he felt, something deeper awaited him. Myra moved with calm certainty, her eyes reflecting the light of the twin suns. They reached a high cliff overlooking the shimmering rivers and forests below. The view was breathtaking. The trees glowed in gold and silver, and the rivers reflected the sky like liquid emerald. Myra stood at the edge, silent. Kai felt the weight of the moment. He knew she would speak soon. Kai took a deep breath. Myra, I have followed your tests. I have learned your lessons. But I still do not understand why you hid from me, from humans. Myra turned, her eyes calm but filled with a sadness that touched Kai's heart. Long ago, my people faced many visitors. Some came to learn, but many came to take. Our knowledge, our life, and our planet were nearly destroyed. I hid because I carry the memory of those who came with greed, and I must protect what is precious. Kai listened carefully, understanding her fear. I will not take. I want to learn, to respect, and to help. I understand now why you feared humans. But I hope you can see my heart, and trust that I will not harm your people or your world. Myra looked at him for a long moment. Then she gestured to the valley below. Symbols appeared in the glowing air, forming shapes Kai could understand. They told a story. The Zephyrians had lived in harmony with the planet for centuries. They had built their knowledge carefully, always protecting the balance of life. Visitors had come before, some curious, some violent. Myra's fear was the memory of all those events. Kai felt a deep respect for her people. He understood that hiding was not weakness, but protection. He also realized that trust must be earned, and he felt honored that Myra had allowed him this far. She stepped closer. I hid because I must keep my people safe. I hid because I feared what humans could do if they found our knowledge without understanding. But I have watched you, Kai. You have shown patience, intelligence, and empathy. You have proven your heart. And now, I see that perhaps humans can learn without harming. Kai felt a mixture of relief and awe. He realized that the tests had not been just challenges. They were mirrors of the values her people held dear. He understood that knowledge without care could be dangerous, but respect and understanding could make it a powerful gift. Myra raised her hand, and the air shimmered with glowing symbols. We are not like other humans you have met. We are protectors, learners, and keepers of life. I hid because I could not trust. Now, I choose to teach. But you must remember the lessons. Always. Kai bowed slightly. I will. I promise to honor your people and your world. I will not forget these lessons, and I will share them only with care and respect. Myra's eyes softened further. You are ready to see more of our knowledge, but only if you carry understanding with you. The history of my people is beautiful and dangerous. It is full of wisdom, but it can be misunderstood. That is why I hid. That is why I tested you. Kai felt the weight of her words. He realized that this moment was a turning point. He had learned not only about Myra and the Zephyrians, but also about himself and humanity. Knowledge carried responsibility. Power without respect could destroy worlds. The valley below shimmered as Myra shared more of her story. She showed Kai visions of her people caring for the forests, guiding rivers, and teaching generations of life to live in harmony. He saw struggles and triumphs, mistakes and lessons learned. He understood why Myra had to hide, and he understood the immense responsibility she carried. Kai felt a deep determination. He wanted to help, to learn, and to share this wisdom with care. Myra had shown him the path, but it was up to him to walk it responsibly. He realized that this journey was not just about exploration. It was about understanding life, respect, and the power of knowledge. As the twin suns began to set, Kai and Myra stood together, overlooking the glowing forests and rivers. The air was filled with soft energy, the hum of life around them strong and steady. Kai felt a connection to the planet, to Myra, and to her people. Myra spoke softly. "Now you understand why I hid. You understand the responsibility of knowledge and trust. Remember this always, Kai. The lessons you learned are not just tests. They are the foundation of our world. Protect it, respect it, and honor it." Kai nodded, feeling humbled and inspired. "I understand, Myra. I will honor your people, your world, and everything you have taught me." The forest glowed beneath the twin moons, and Kai felt a deep sense of purpose. He had discovered the truth. Myra had hidden to protect, but she had also chosen to teach. The revelation changed him. He knew that from this moment forward, he would carry the wisdom of the Zephyrians with care, respect, and determination. Kai took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the planet flow through him. He knew the journey was far from over, but he was ready. He had learned the meaning of trust, respect, and responsibility. The story of Myra and her people had become his story too, and he would carry it forward with honor. The morning air was cool and still as Kai followed Myra through the glowing forest. Today felt different. He had learned the lessons, faced the tests, and understood why Myra had hidden. Now, he would take the final step toward trust and partnership. Myra led him to a wide plateau overlooking the rivers and forests below. The landscape glowed softly under the twin suns. From this height, Kai could see the patterns of the Zephyrians' careful work, paths that guided rivers, gardens that nurtured life, and structures hidden among the trees. It was a world in balance, and he understood the care that had gone into protecting it. Kai turned to Myra. "I am ready," he said. "I have learned your lessons. I understand your fears. I promise to honor your people and this planet. What must I do next?" Myra studied him quietly, her eyes reflecting the golden light of the suns. "The final step is choice," she said. "I can trust you with knowledge and allow you to learn from my people. But trust must be mutual. You must promise that you will protect what you learn and share it only with care. Do you accept this responsibility?" Kai bowed his head. "I do. I promise to protect, respect, and honor everything I learn. I will not let my people harm this world." Myra's expression softened. "Then you may see more. You may learn the heart of our civilization. But remember, knowledge without respect can be dangerous. Always carry the lessons of patience, awareness, and empathy." She led him down a glowing path to a hidden valley filled with structures made of crystal and light. Each building shimmered with energy, and small creatures moved freely among the gardens. The air was filled with soft music-like sounds, the harmony of life flowing through the valley. Kai felt a mixture of awe and humility. "This is the heart of our people," Myra said. "Here, knowledge is shared carefully. Each being contributes to the balance of life. You may observe and learn, but you must never take more than you are given. Our world is fragile and must be respected." Kai nodded, absorbing the beauty and care of the place. He spent hours learning from the Zephyrians. He watched as they tended plants, guided rivers, and nurtured young creatures. He observed their ceremonies, their quiet moments of meditation, and their careful study of the planet. Each moment taught him more about balance, harmony, and responsibility. By evening, Kai felt a deep connection to Myra and her people. He understood that this world was not just a place of beauty, it was a living system, carefully maintained and protected for generations. He realized that humans could learn from the Zephyrians, not to conquer, but to respect and preserve. Myra stepped beside him. You have proven yourself, Kai. You may share what you learn, but only with wisdom and care. Together, we can guide your people to see the universe differently. Not as a place to take, but as a place to understand and protect. Kai felt a surge of determination. I will. I will honor your people and this world. I will help humans see the value of respect and care. We can learn from each other. Myra smiled, her expression calm and approving. Then our alliance begins. Not as conquerors or strangers, but as partners. Knowledge is a gift, and responsibility is its companion. You have accepted both, Kai. The twin moons rose, casting silver light over the valley. The forest and rivers shimmered, and Kai felt the energy of the planet flow around him. He realized that this moment was not just an ending, it was a beginning. The journey of learning, trust, and partnership would continue, and he was ready. Kai turned to Myra. Thank you for your trust. I will carry it forward with care. Your lessons will guide me, and I will never forget them. Myra nodded. And I will continue to guide you, Kai. The universe is full of worlds like this one. Patience, awareness, and empathy are the keys to understanding them. Together, we can make a difference. Kai looked at the glowing valley, feeling a profound sense of purpose. He had come seeking knowledge and curiosity, but he had found wisdom, trust, and a responsibility greater than himself. Myra had hidden to protect, but she had chosen to teach. And now, Kai knew that humans had a chance to rise not through conquest, but through understanding and care. The forest pulsed softly under the moons, the rivers shimmered, and the creatures moved in harmony. Kai felt connected to everything around him, the planet, Myra, her people, and even his own world. He knew that this alliance was the start of something greater. As night deepened, Kai sat by the river, reflecting on the journey. He had faced challenges, learned lessons, and discovered truths that would shape his life forever. Myra's trust had been earned, and he would carry it forward with honor. Kai stood and looked at the glowing forest. The adventure had begun long ago, but now it had reached a new chapter. Together with Myra, he would protect the planet, learn from the Zephyrians, and help humanity see that respect, knowledge, and care were stronger than fear and destruction. And with that thought, Kai stepped forward into the glowing valley, ready to embrace the path of understanding, trust, and alliance.